Carrie Lee. I was called to y'all because I'm in the hospital and my husband has been doing everything, and my oldest daughter's too. I feel bad that my husband is the only one working, and I know he's stressed. So, as men on the panel, what can you say to encourage Carrie? I know I mean, you guys talked about devotion and duty and things like that, but what can you say to encourage her in the way that she's feeling on behalf of her husband, believing that he's stressed in all that he's doing while she is in the hospital?
I would, if you don't mind, I'll go first.
Yeah.
On just off the top of my head, I would tell her to relax. This is what are made for. It's what men are made for. If I mean, I don't know your husband. If he's the kind of man that you're devoted to, or that's a word there again in love, yeah, he might be stressed, but these are the times that make men men,
Mm.
right? I'm sure he's going through it, but he's never going to tell you. He's never going to sit down and tell you how tough it is. But that's what the shoulders are made for,
Mm.
and God bless your family, and that you'll get through this thing, but don't let that stop you from healing because you're worried about him. That's the last thing he'd want you to do. It's the last thing he'd want you to do. I'll just land that there.
Thank you.
Hey, yes. Now, I would say to her, if you can say the words to that man, hey, hubby, husband, Peter, whatever his name is, I see what you're doing and thank you. You don't need to add anything else to that, Carrie. Just when you talk to him the next time, preferably in person, just say, I see what you're doing and thank you. And leave it at that. Let that man know from you to him that he's got things and that you see the work that he's putting in. That right there is power enough. And then you take the time, take that stress away from you and allow yourself to heal.
Yes,
Thank
indeed.
you.
I wouldn't disagree with that at all. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. Well wishes to you, speedy recovery, but they're absolutely right. Your speedy recovery is the most important thing, and recognizing his effort and contribution to the family would be amazing for him. Me, I'm gonna make this real quick. I'm a sports player, and every night you can't have an amazing night. And knowing that you have, a teammate that is able to, capable to pick up the slack and go above and beyond, take care of his share and yours for the temporary time being, kudos to him. And you allow yourself to heal and get back to your team so you guys can continue to win championships.
Yeah, no, that's right. Anyone else want to speak to Carrie?
I was going to add one thing because I agree with all what the brother said. I was actually wrote that down because a lot of times I be forgetting. But I honestly, with a situation like this, you have to make sure you level headed, and level minded. Anything you could do while you are in the hospital, right? You might have to put your hand down there or something. Just what I mean, just any little small thing that's showing you, hey, babe, I understand you. I can't do everything I used to, right? But I still know you got your needs and what I mean, I love you. So you can just, what I mean, touch them down there, what I mean, touch them up a little bit, what I mean, but what I mean, if you can, but what I mean, every little thing matters, right? And guys, we appreciate the effort and we appreciate the love. Just like when ladies, when that man goes the extra mile, y'all appreciate that too as well. So, what I mean, just tell your husband, like, hey, I love you, I love what you're doing. I know you stressed. I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna get back in the gym with you. We're gonna be just like old times, right? I'm here. I ain't forget about what you did. Thanks for what you're doing, and thanks for being there for me, right? And thank your daughter too as well, because that can be traumatic for her too as well. So what I mean, just be happy for the people that's in your corner and that's showing you love. So that's all I have to say.
Man, James, I hope you wasn't talking about giving that man a hand job. I don't know.
Hey, I didn't want to say it.
God damn.
He said, put your hand down there.
What is Jay trying to tell this woman? Oh man, but on a serious note, yeah. hopefully, y'all have y'all affairs in order, financial affairs in order, where even though he's down and out right now, that he's maybe hopefully collecting some type of short-term disabilities in the meantime, between time, and that you have saved up enough to try to guide you through these down times. You know what I'm saying? That's why investing your money in the right places and the right things is always a must, right? I don't know what your plan is. I don't know if you're willing to start maybe getting a part-time job, to try to offset some of the bills. Definitely have a conversation maybe, with your bill collectors. Let these guys know that we hit a rough spot right now. I may need a little grace. I don't know if you rent your home, your apartment or house or whatever, or you're a homeowner. Let your bank and home loan people know, to what's going on, and try to get ahead of the curve with this situation, because you don't know how long this can be. Hopefully it's not a long-term situation. It's a short-term thing, but you still want to make sure you do those things and make sure you prepare properly for this type of situation. Hopefully y'all did. But if not, try to get ahead of it right now as soon as possible. And just to try to continue to encourage him, be there every day. If you can, maybe stay the night with him at the hospital. I don't know if you can do that because of kids.
She's the one in the hospital. She's in the hospital, and her husband has been, pretty much doing everything to support her and her daughter.
Okay. I'm sorry. I misunderstood that.
That's okay.
So, my man, keep grinding. Same thing goes for you. So you are still working. I'm sure you're stressed, and it can be stressful, especially if y'all have kids. Now you're taking over maybe more of the duty that she was doing. And then let me tell you this, you're going to learn to appreciate her even more so when them kids are getting on your goddamn nerves and you can't watch the game in peace no more like you used to because the lady's not around. Hopefully on Mother's Day, you'll get a nice big fat gift and some flowers and some chocolate in a nice restaurant. But she's going to make it through, I'm sure. Just make sure you're up there as much as possible. And like I said, if you don't have kids or young kids, if you're able to spend some nights up there with her, please do that. That will definitely encourage her, and that will definitely uplift her spirits. And let her know she's a great woman, and I'm looking forward to having you back home. You've been blessed in the hospital for this amount of time. I need for you to come back home and bless me and to bless our children. And I want to continue to bless you by being here for you and encourage you with kind words, text messages, leaving her love notes, all those good things that you could possibly think of, my man. Definitely do that for her, and definitely continue with words of encouragement. I don't know if you're a believer or not. Definitely drop the scripture or two for her, if that's what your belief is. So just do what you can to be there for and encourage and uplift and lift the spirits, and continue to press on, my man. Because I know that's your wife and you love her, but your kids also need you too, because they're going to be stressed. They're going to feel some type of way because they're not seeing their mommy anymore walk through them doors or doing the daily things she's used to doing. All of a sudden, it's a different dynamic. So now you got to reassure them as a father. You have to reassure them that it's going to be all right and we're going to get through this as a family. So.
Thank you for that, Hank, and thank you for actually speaking, to her husband too. It's something that she can show him, and hopefully it keeps him encouraged with being there for his wife in sickness and in health. So I didn't know that comment was going to come through, but that's why we do these things, right? Because I trust you guys. I trust your perspective. I trust your insight. You're in relationships, married, children, so you're on the front lines, you guys know. And so I definitely always appreciate you being up here, because I always say if you could help one person, that's just one more person. You don't always have to try to get to the multitude. If it gets to the multitude, great. But it's always that one person that really needs to hear from you, that really needs to hear a word that's going to speak to them. So I appreciate you guys, and I'm sure she will too.
Hey, okay, let it be known. I'm working hard when I ain't on the phone. This ain't a home, this ain't a phone. Grind never stopping, I'm keeping it cold.